And some say, hold us near, protect us from the things we fear. And though we walk down this path alone, singing, welcome home, ah, yeah, welcome home. We come together in the morning sun to celebrate what we've become.
are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. And we'll get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Yes, we'll get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Oh yes, we'll get there. Knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yes, we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Oh yes, we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah.
Good morning. So very nice to have you here with us today. I hope you're well, and if you're not, I hope you're getting the care you need. You've found your way to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Shreveport's online worship. We lift up the word worship with its roots in Old English that means to elevate and contemplate matters of worth. And in a community that's diverse, like we keep working to be and support, those matters of worth can be varied. And for this reason, a whole lot of what we're about is learning to treat respectfully people with differing paths and opinions. That's our covenant, and that's our challenge. We are a tradition that's built on covenant rather than creed. So how we are together is how we stay in covenant. To that end, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us, you are welcome. Not only that, we hope that you will help inform us as we learn to broaden our understanding of people with differences, whatever they are. This tradition values actions and interactions here in this world. We spend a whole lot more time worrying about that than we do about what comes after this when we die. Those kinds of things are up to your personal path. We share those ideas, but we don't hold them in common. So we hope you'll participate in whatever ways you find to be a part of this community outside of this worship service. And I would like to ask our new board vice president to share some thoughts with us.
Good morning. Sharing thoughts seems a little bit, I don't know, bigger than what I'm going to do here. I have announcements, and I guess those are thoughts as well. I'd like to start by asking those of you who are watching live, if you could leave a comment or a like or a heart to let us know that you're here and to help build a little community among those of you who were there. It can feel a little bit isolating watching by yourself, but when you see comments from friends and family, it's our All Souls family, it's nice to have that there. Other ways to connect this week. Wednesday at noon is the Zoom lunch. You can bring your lunch or just yourself and connect with some All Souls family midweek. On Saturday is the Great Decisions Discussion Group, which is facilitated by Melody Armstrong. That group meets at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Information and links for that can be found in the email, or I suspect that Steve Caldwell will put a link below because he's really good about that sort of thing. Next Sunday is a really special Sunday at All Souls. We'll be giving the Emerson Award, which is an award that we give to a non-member of the church who exemplifies the things that the church stands for. This year's recipient is Dr. Pam McPherson, who has spoken from our pulpit before. She's a fantastic human being and a fantastic speaker, so that should be a terrific service. Before that service, there will be Adult RE at 9:15. Coming soon, we'll have a discussion group on race and diversity hosted by Brittany Turner and Bennett Upton. The details on that are not set yet, but keep an eye out. Also in the email you may have seen, there's a link to fill out the survey, more about how we can connect with you and how you would like to connect with us. And one of the things we always have to do is a reminder that the lights at All Souls stay on thanks to your generous contributions. Even though we can't physically pass the plate each week, the church still needs your donations, and we would encourage you to make your pledge or additional donations if you can. And that's all the wise thoughts that I have to share with you this morning.
Good morning. Amanda has already mentioned a lot of the stuff that's going on, the class coming up with Brittany and Bennett. And on that same theme, I wanted you to be aware that the local YWCA participates in a program called Dialogue on Race. And I am one of the facilitators of that, actually, and there are several sessions coming up. The one that I'm facilitating with Sonja Lester will be on Saturday mornings from 10 to 12, starting July the 11th and going to August 15th. These are 6 sessions of structured conversations on race. And it's a really, we endeavor to make it a safe space. As we say in our Adult RE, it may not always be a comfortable space, but it's a place where you can sit with that discomfort and maybe grow some. It's not about guilt, because guilt accomplishes nothing. It's about when you know better, you do better, which I'll actually talk more about later this morning. But also wanted to mention, as part of the 45 Days of Action today at the Corner Lounge, there is a gathering for LGBTQ Black Lives. And just intersectionality in general. They'll start gathering at noon at the Corner Lounge. There's a demonstration at 1 o'clock, and then there is a panel discussion at the Office Hub at 2 o'clock. So we hope you can participate in that. Also wanted to mention, if you missed the General Assembly worship this morning, that will show again at noon our time today. For the one that they show for the West Coast will be at noon today, so you can catch it live, and that link is on the Facebook page. Thank you so much.
So we tend to use some alphabet soup around here to discuss things. We talk about the UUA, and that's the Unitarian Universalist Association, which is the organization, the Association of Congregations that's responsible for General Assembly, which is our national and international, at this point, annual gathering. And I will be talking a little bit more about that later, but we call General Assembly GA, and it is hosted by the UUA. When we talk about UUs, that's Unitarian Universalists. When we talk about RE, that's religious education. I don't think we're nearly as bad about it as the military. But, you know, we can forget sometimes that there are people here with us who aren't familiar with our tradition. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of a primer to start the service. Now, as we enter a spirit of worship, I invite you to open your lungs and take a deep breath. Maybe lift your thoughts, lift your eyes, lift your head as you breathe in deeply. And open yourself to all that's worthy. And that can be an evaluative word. Don't let your head get into it too far. This is a time of resting today. We will be challenging you some, but hopefully you will find plenty of room to breathe. For a call to worship, I invite Virginia Villarreal to help us this morning.
Buenos días. No temas a la agitación, por Tania Márquez. No temas a la agitación, puesto que es el ritmo de la vida misma, ser puesto en movimiento, incitarte. No temas los movimientos que descentran lo que creías permanente. Llevas dentro el centro de tu entendimiento, la brújula que te muestra el camino. Lleva contigo el amor que te sostendrá, la visión que te guiará, las relaciones con todos los seres y el mundo que te pondrán los pies sobre la tierra. Ve en paz y con una suave agitación mueve a este mundo hacia el lado del amor.
Do not fear agitation, for agitation is the rhythm of life itself. To be put into motion, to be stirred. Do not fear the movements that decenter what you always thought permanent. You carry within the center of your understanding the compass to show you the way. Carry with you the love that will hold you, the vision that will guide you, the relationships to all beings in the world that will ground you. Be in peace, in gentle agitation, to stir this world to the side of love. I invite you to give a response as I go through this next reading by Ma Teresa Costilla Gallardo. It's called When I Change, the world changes. And that's what the response will be. When I change, the world changes. We are here to derive meaning in our actions. When I change, the world changes. We are here to win our power back over our areas of powerlessness. When I change, the world changes. We are here to deepen our understanding of ourselves in order to strengthen self-discipline. When I change, the world changes. We are here to abolish prejudice with an appreciation for our diversity and differences. When I change, the world changes. We are here to feel our personal power and our capacity to affect the lives of other people. When I change, the world changes. We are here to become teachers to each other. When I change, the world changes. We are here to spend time away from the usual influences and relearn reality. When I change, the world changes. When God gives me the desire, I am also given the power and means to achieve my goals. When I change, the world changes. I am here to see that my singular life is a gateway to countless possibilities. When I change, the world changes. So let us reach the place of self, the place that is not alien to truth. Let us wash over with peace and serenity, with fierce longing for light and heart, with living strength flowing in our veins, bringing ourselves into fearlessness and into trust. There are a number of All Souls churches in our tradition, and that nice video and musical presentation was from one not our own. I would like to invite right now Ashford McLean to help us with part of our chalice lighting.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hand. And this is the church of the loving heart.
Thank you, Ash.
Happy to be here.
Some of you will know what this says, some of you will not. We light our chalice, flaming chalice, as a beloved people, united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This is a chalice of audacious hope. The chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. Jax Cage, would you help us with our unison affirmation, please?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jax Cage. Love is the doctrine of this church. Quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, serve human need, in that all souls shall grow in harmony, sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Great to be here, Barbara. Thanks.
Well, thank you. And we have an opening hymn. I believe we will post the lyrics and invite you to sing along. want to thank Susan Caldwell for performing our hymn today. Now we come to a time for all ages.
Good morning. A couple of weeks ago, you might remember that my dear friend Brittany Turner helped me get this huge blob of cream cheese off my face. Who knew that was there? But that's something you hope any friend would do for you. You know, if you were walking around with a huge blob of cream cheese on your face, that they would tell you so that you wouldn't just be walking around like that. In the same way that if you had done or said something a little bit racist, or maybe a lot racist, without realizing that, maybe you didn't intend it, but your impact was hurtful. If you found that out, hopefully you would take that the same way, that the friend was telling you something that you can fix, that now you know that, and that's a gift. Well, as it happens, this week on Facebook, I have Brittany to thank once again. If you remember last week, I shared a picture with you, and I want to share it again. So let me do this. And where is it? Hang on, I am sorry. Hang on just a second. I know it's here. You know, the Amish talk about their quilts that they leave a mistake so that it's a hole that lets the spirit in. Well, this is a spirit-filled story this morning. I don't seem to be able to get it to show when I'm ready to share it. So I apologize for that. Where is it? Hang on. Here we are. Sorry about that. So this was the picture that I showed you 2 weeks ago. A picture about equality versus equity, and talked about how when someone may need a little bit of help and not start out at the same time, that's how we can fix it. Only the problem is the article that Brittany shared with me this week, the author, and it's from a website called Equity in Education, or Sipping the Equity, TEA is actually what the website is called, put out by a group called the Coalition for Equity in Education. But they said this picture is actually kind of white supremacy at work, believe it or not. When we know better, we do better. So I'm gonna, now that I know better, try to help you understand this. The reason is because they put the problem as something wrong or something about this littlest person that makes them more needy, makes them more in need of extra resources. And this is something that is kind of put on Black and brown people in our society. And so this author feels like just the fact that the ground is level, boxes or no boxes, just the fact that the ground is level is not really accurate for the way that things start out. So the artwork gets significantly of less quality in this next picture, but bear with me. The authors of the article said that it should be something more like this, that the ground is actually sloping down and you have three people that are essentially the same size but they're still not starting in the same place. And that this is more a picture of what reality would look like. And then there was another picture that was also shared that said, really, the problem's not with the people at all, the problem's with the fence. And so ideally, and once again, the artwork, not so great, but ideally the ground would be level. We would work on getting rid of the barriers that cause some people not to see or not to have access to whatever it is. Ideally, there would be the baseball game still going on in front of these people. But as I said, this particular artist, not as talented, but at any rate, this is a better picture, that people start out on level ground. Then when they have the resources within them, they aren't having to work twice as hard to do as much or to get as far. And so, as we always say, and as I have said this morning, when we know better, we do better. And I am going to think about the ways that I share these pictures from now on. So I thank you, and I hope that you will think about it too. And we'll go back to Barbara.
Good morning. I'm Larry, and for today's meditation, make yourself comfortable, your body settled and balanced, your spine straight. Begin with taking a few deep breaths and imagine that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. Let this breath be deep and kind. And now in your mind's eye, see yourself standing on the bank of a gently flowing stream. On the side where you are standing, many experience conflict, dissension, separation. And on the other shore is peace, intimacy, and community. Placed across this stream are a number of stepping stones, each representing a belief to release, an attachment to soften, a point of view to open and expand. As you step onto the first stone, you encounter the many roles that you play in life: father, mother, son, daughter, employee, citizen, male, female, and reflect, I am more than the roles I play. And with courage and kindness, step forward. And now you encounter the many beliefs that you hold and have held about right and wrong, strong and weak, fair and unfair. And reflect, I can see beyond the beliefs that I hold. And with courage and kindness, step forward. And here on this stone are expectations and judgments, what you should do to maintain your image, to fit in and be normal, to be reliable and responsible. Reflect, I can let go of these judgments, and what I have to offer comes from a deeper place within me. With courage and kindness, step forward. And here on this stone is the network of unquestioned stories given by your culture and its history. Stories of privilege and position, age and gender and race, patterns of power and separation, and all the many invitations culture gives to disconnect, from the hearts and needs of others, and say to yourself, I am more than any story, any belief, or any history. I give myself and others the gift of freedom. I step forward into a new world, and find yourself now standing firmly on a new shore, new horizons stretched out before you. And in these moments of stillness, say to yourself, here is the world of the open heart, the world of hands that give, the world of vision unclouded by fear and separation. Here is the world I give to future generations.
I have a story. This comes from Jabari S. Jones. On a spring day in Farmington, Maine, as I was walking downtown, I made my way through a line of cars that were waiting for the light. In front of me was a large Confederate flag flying from the back of a white pickup. I crossed the street, not looking at who was driving the truck, and went into the store. As I went about my business, I felt stunned. My mind stirred with thoughts and feelings, memories and speculations. I felt fear and anger and curiosity, worry and defiance and humiliation. As I stood at the register, I chatted with the older white woman behind the counter. Hi, how are you today? I'm good. How are you? She replied. I paused, and then I told her about the truck with the flag. She said something like, oh, yes, we have some of that around here, but don't let it upset you. Don't let it get to you. I appreciated her gesture, her attempt to comfort me. At the same time, her gesture made me more uncomfortable. She was asking me to respect that person's right to fly that flag and shrug it off like everybody else. What she failed to see, or perhaps ignore in a gesture of colorblindness wrapped in the First Amendment, is that I am not like everybody else who walks in the shadow of that flag. I am from away. My hair is coarse. My skin is dark brown. I am a Black man in Maine. In so many ways, I am not like everybody else around here. but I want to belong here. In so many ways, that flag represents the denial of my rights, my belonging. It is impossible for me to blend in, to hide my Black body, to not let it get to me. I don't have the privilege of hiding from history because I'm conscious. I know what it is. I know its name. It rides in the back of a pickup truck. It proudly stalks around town like an alpha predator. It clings to me like a nightmare, while it seems like everyone else is walking through a dream. I point at the thing and say, "Look," and the crowd replies, "Yes, but." When I hear yes, I feel heard. When I hear but, I become invisible. My life doesn't matter. It's this but, this disbelief in the truth of Black bodies, this tolerance for something that is ugly and intolerant, that is the terror that everybody else allows to walk in their midst, a casual terror that I cannot escape any more than I can escape my own body, my own consciousness, a terror that makes all lives matter less. I struggle to wake up from the nightmare and the dream that is its mirror image. I struggle to make my life matter, for Black lives to matter, so that all lives will matter.
Driving the winding roads of Tennessee, saw an anchor on a mountain 1,000 miles from any sea. Can't be too careful, never know what you might need. You know, Noah went from fool to celebrity. I'm getting further from the things I thought I knew, but I'm closer to the truth. There's a distance to be crossed, and it's the space between me and you. There's a silver mist curtain this morning in the pines. This road's a river running through this life of mine. I'm getting tired, but I can't sleep. Too many miles in front of me. You're the only place I really want to be. From the things I thought I knew, but I'm closer to the truth. There's a distance to be crossed, and it's the space between me and you. the things I thought I knew, from the things I thought I knew, but I'm closer to the truth. There's a distance to be crossed, and it's the space between me and you, and it's the space between me and you.
I want to thank Trout Fishing in America for allowing me to use some of their music for this service this morning, and all of the people that have produced music and made it available for our services. This week, like we were mentioning before, has been, and for the next few hours will be, our national convention, our international convention, the UUA, Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly. At General Assembly, there are worship services every day and numerous workshops, lectures, concerts, exhibits, panels, and extended business sessions. Typically, this has happened in person with thousands of Unitarians coming together and doing the very step-by-step small work of making a tradition that's worth investing in. We have, in many ways, a noble heritage and history. This year, of course, like all the other large gatherings with any sense, this has been all done online. It makes it hard to not be face-to-face with people. It takes away the warmth of community and getting to see people that you know from far away and getting to meet people that you've never met before. That's a piece that's really missing. But at the same time, it's been very good. The speakers have been excellent. The services and the workshops, very thoughtful and well prepared, even though a number of them were done in preparation for this event, recorded before the COVID lockdowns, before the incredible movements that are afoot right now on the heels of the George Floyd shooting. There's a reading or a poem by an Irish Nobel Peace Prize winner named Seamus Heaney. And in Seamus Heaney's poem, he says, "History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme." We're in one of those times. Everything about General Assembly and our board president and our lifespan religious education director have both been participating heavily in those workshops and worship services and plenary business sessions, helping to shape our actions of immediate witness and the things that we are going to speak together for justice in the future. They may have come away with a different feeling about it than I got. My sense is that while a lot of it has been about being rooted, and let me parenthetically throw in, because I have never had a sense of real history, it prompted me to do 23andMe and Ancestry.com, to find out who in the world I am underneath all of this other stuff. But it's about rootedness, and many people can tell the stories of their families going back and going back and going back. I'm not one of them. I wanted to become that. So, but it's also about being inspired and being ready. I can't tell you exactly how many times I heard this week that white, progressive, well-informed, well-educated individuals are one of the biggest parts of the problem because we think we get it. We think we're the choir. But as Rob and D'Angelo would say, there is no choir. And unless we have spent years and years and years of focused, intentional study and permeated experiences within communities that are other than the white, comfortable communities that many of us have spent time in, we will not be likely to get close to being in the choir. I bring all of that up for a couple of reasons. The title of today's message is Out of the Middle. I bet a number of you have heard the expression, that person's taking their piece out of the middle. They're taking their slice out of the middle. And the expression is talking about taking the amount that is your appropriate portion, but taking it in such a way that other people can't get their appropriate portion. This analogy might get tired before I'm done with it, but I was going to talk about how we have treated streets or have behaved on streets for so long that they were one way. And we've parked at the entrance. The white middle class or white empowered systems have parked in the middle of the entrance to a lot of streets, thinking that was ours to do, or that's where it belonged. And yes, when somebody drives away, the street is open for a little while for somebody else to use, but when they come back and plant themselves there again, the street is blocked. And in order for anybody to use the half of the street that's left, they have to drive off the rails or make special considerations, work twice as hard to stay safe. We don't have awareness of all the ways that we are driving down the middle of the road. And I know that I am speaking for my own group. That's all I can do here. I cannot be the voice of other people's experience, although I can try to point to them and say, listen, not to me. Listen and learn, be led, be a follower. I want to share a couple of quotes from John A. Powell. Powell leads the UC Berkeley Othering and Belonging Institute and holds the Robert D. House Chancellor's Chair in Equity and Inclusion. He's a professor of law and professor of African American Studies and Ethnic Studies at the University of California, Berkeley School of Law. He writes his name with all lowercase letters. John A. Powell wrote, "The invisibility of whiteness means that one doesn't have to notice that one is white. So there are people, and then there are Black people. There are people, and there are Latino people. And people, just folks, turn out to be white, but we don't notice it. White people have the luxury of not having to think about race. That is a benefit of being white, of being part of the dominant group. Just like men don't have to think about gender, The system works for you and you don't have to think about it. So they live in white space and they don't have to think about it. First of all, they think about race as something that belongs to somebody else. The blacks have race. Maybe Latinos have race. Maybe Asians have race. But they're just white. They're just people. That's part of being white. The privileges of racist systems, according to John A. Powell. The thing that's really slick about whiteness, if you will, is that most of the benefits can be obtained without ever doing anything personally. There are a whole set of assumptions that flow from being white, just like there are a whole set of benefits that flow from being male. You know, being a man doesn't mean that you have antipathy toward women, but if society is patriarchal, which a lot of people say it is, it means that the way resources are distributed in society benefits men. In that sense, men are not innocent, even though they may not personally have antipathy toward women. In the same way, in that sense, whiteness is not innocent. They're given the spoils of a racist system, even if they're not personally racist. A lot of us are getting older. We might have done many things in our lifetimes to try to serve causes of helping to elevate or accommodate those who have been marginalized or those from whom resources have not been granted easily. Even so, we don't have the luxury of being tired. After General Assembly, often I'm weary. You know, the schedule is difficult, and if you participate in something in every slot that it's allowed, you will be flat worn out before it's over with, and overwhelmed with too much to think about and too many things to consider. You have to pace yourself. But if you want to get all there is to get out of it, that's your responsibility. Those of us who are white have had it with privilege that we can't escape and that other people have not been able to access. It is our responsibility to learn how to move out of the middle and how to change the systems that keep painting us into the middle of the road, making everything around us foot trails or bike paths rather than the highways that we get to just navigate. This is skimming over stuff quickly, and I know that we're already a little beyond time. Generally, I have a week or a month or so to process the stuff I get at General Assembly before I come back and try to deliver it. So hopefully I will get to process things over time and refine the message a bit. None of this is about feeling guilty or ashamed. It's about being open to learning a new way. It's about listening to things that we haven't heard before. Patrice Curtis, who is a minister in the Unitarian Universalist Association and is the Associate Director of Interim Ministries for the UUA, talked about some research that they did on brain activity, and they discovered that those who are actually whose brains are actually less inclined toward bias aren't as likable by Black people. Maybe, she said, it's because they're still in their brains and it hasn't moved into their bones yet. It's easier to engage with people who have a heartfelt disagreement and feel that they are really present with you, authentic, than it is for somebody who stays in their head. I haven't seen that research, and I'm not sure of the source. But we're not the choir. And anyone that can help us learn along the way how to sing the songs and become the choir, we need to learn from. I'm going to forego a song at the end and close before I ask Virginia to share another reading with us, with some words from Malcolm X. I'm for truth no matter who tells it. I'm for justice no matter who it is for or against. I am a human being first and foremost, and as such, I'm for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole. We're not done. Let us have heart. Virginia?
Es una tarea difícil por Rosemary Bray McNatt, porque así como el cuerpo sin espíritu está muerto, la fe sin obras también está muerta. Santiago 2:26. ¿Por qué seguimos hablando de inclusividad y diversidad cuando hemos hecho tan poco para hacerlos realidad? ¿Por qué seguimos sintiendo dolor por la falta de diversidad en la denominación? Porque la diversidad, la inclusión, es terriblemente difícil, terriblemente incómoda, definitivamente inquietante y a menudo bastante frustrante. Lo que sé acerca de ser inclusivo, cruzar de una cultura a otra, aprender el lenguaje de la diversidad, es que es un trabajo de toda una vida. Es difícil aceptar a personas que no son como tú, que no hablan de la misma manera que lo haces tú, o que no creen lo que crees tú, o que no se visten o votan como lo haces tú. Es aún más difícil apreciarlos por las cosas que no son como tú, a encontrarlos interesantes y divertidos, a disfrutar del aprendizaje que forma parte de la experiencia y a reconocer finalmente que quizás tengas que aceptar estar en desacuerdo. La verdad es esta. Si no hay justicia, no habrá paz. Podemos leernos a Thoreau y a Emerson, citar a Rilke y a Alice Walker o a Howard Thurman, a tener buenos y nobles pensamientos sobre nosotros mismos. Pero si no podemos llevar la justicia al pequeño círculo de nuestras propias vidas individuales, no podemos esperar traer justicia al mundo. Y si no traemos justicia al mundo, ninguno de nosotros estará a salvo, y ninguno de nosotros sobrevivirá. Nada de lo que necesitan hacer los unitarios universalistas es más importante que hacer realidad la justicia aquí donde estamos. Por difícil que sea la diversidad, es nuestra tarea más importante.
Thank you so much. We need to become comfortable not being comfortable. The words that Virginia shared are first from the book of James in the Christian Testament. For just as the body without the spirit is dead, faith without works is also dead. Why are we still talking about inclusivity and diversity when we've done so little to make them real? Why are we still looking pained about the lack of diversity in our denomination? Because diversity, inclusivity is terribly hard, terribly uncomfortable, definitely unsettling, and often quite frustrating. What I know about being inclusive, crossing from culture to culture, learning the language of diversity, is that it's the work of a lifetime. It's hard to accept people who are not like you, who don't talk the way you do, or believe the things you believe, or dress or vote as you do. It's even harder to appreciate them for the things about them that are not like you, to find them interesting and fun, to enjoy the learning that's part of the experience, and to acknowledge, finally, that you may have to agree to disagree. The truth is this: if there is no justice, there will be no peace. We can read Thoreau and Emerson to one another, quote Rilke and Alice Walker and Howard Thurman, and think good and noble thoughts about ourselves. But if we cannot bring justice into the small circle of our own individual lives, we cannot hope to bring justice to the world. And if we do not bring justice to the world, none of us is safe and none of us will survive. Nothing that Unitarian Universalists need to do is more important than making justice real. Here, where we are, hard as diversity is, it is our most important task. These words come from Helen Keller. Virginia?
Palabras de Helen Keller. Aunque el mundo está lleno de sufrimiento, también está lleno de su superación. Mi optimismo, entonces, no descansa en la ausencia del mal, sino en una feliz creencia en la preponderancia del bien y en un esfuerzo voluntario por cooperar siempre con el bien para que éste pueda prevalecer.
Although the world is full of suffering, it is full also of the overcoming of it. My optimism then does not rest on the absence of evil, but on a glad belief in the preponderance of good and a willing effort always to cooperate with the good, that it may prevail. Let us go in powerful peace.
we shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vines. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vines. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in